Thank you. Presiding Officer, I want to begin by recognising the massive challenges that our country is facing at the current time and the incredible pressure that individuals and families are living under with a very constant threat of a public health pandemic that today has killed more than 100,000 people across the United Kingdom and has saw unemployment rising at a rate not experienced in decades. Businesses up and down our country are in serious trouble and struggling to stay afloat, and people are worried sick about the prospect for the future, not knowing if they will be in a job next week or next month. Against that backdrop, we have to hope that the vaccine, and I am 100% behind the government in getting the vaccine rolled out as quickly as possible. As Monica Lennon said, our #1 priority is getting the vaccine to as many people as we can, as quickly as we can, and that is the key point of our amendment today. We also make clear in our amendment that there must be more work done on the exit strategy. A few weeks ago, I asked the First Minister about the exit strategy, and she told me that the exit strategy is the vaccine. I'm not so sure. I would not want us as a country to put all our hope in one basket. Indeed, going forward, we still do not know much about the effectiveness of the vaccines and the mutations of this virus. New strains of the virus are emerging that scientists are worried the vaccines will not be effective against. That is why we need an effective plan for exiting the lockdown that learns from the last one, does not have us eating out to spread new variants of the virus, that locks down our borders and enforces basic rules whilst operating the most effective test, trace and isolate programme that can be put in place. We must be able to suppress the virus, something that today the UK Government has failed to do and something today that the Scottish Government has failed to do. And that is why we are amongst the worst countries in Europe when it comes to COVID death rates. That is also why Scottish Labour believes that the Scottish Government launching a campaign and planning an independence referendum in 2021, whilst our country, the people of our country, are facing such difficult times, is not only irresponsible, it beggars belief, and it must be called out for what it is. So no matter your view on the constitutional future of our country, now is not the time, and the silent majority must be able to speak out and encouraged to speak out to such crass incompetence and hypocrisy from this SNP government. The public health crisis is deepening. Our NHS cannot cope as waiting lists grow. Masses of businesses and jobs are shut down. Our elderly are terrified in their own homes, and tens of thousands more people are relying on charity for food. And the SNP answer: hold an independence referendum. It is not acceptable, I believe, to the large majority of the population who want this government to focus on the crisis that we are in. On the question of the Constitution, Presiding Officer, I want to be clear. The Scottish Labour Party believes and has set out it is the sovereign right of the people of Scotland to determine their own future, and the right of the people of Scotland to determine the form of government suited to their needs. Of that, there should be no doubt. But I just ask SNP ministers to listen to the people, face up to your responsibilities, recognise that we are not doing as well trying to tackle this virus as we should be, and make the public health crisis and the economic fallout from that the priority of government until we get through this uncertain and very worrying time. If you're listening to the people, then that is where the majority of the people are at. You know, I pose the question, why on earth would anyone want to politicise this COVID period? Why on earth would you take your focus off COVID and try and have a debate on the Constitution? Why would you want to divide people and divide communities at a time when we need the whole country to come together? Why, oh why? And, Presiding Officer, the Tories are as equally guilty of diversion. We are told that the worst UK Prime Minister ever, Boris Johnson, is heading to Scotland this week to stoke the flames of division. What is it that he and his cronies do not understand about this crisis? So we should tell Johnson to stay away. Support the amendment and focus all our time, all our efforts on tackling the public health crisis and the economic fallout that our country is facing. Thank you.